Most people still think eggs are bad for your health. Too much cholesterol. Too many eggs will clog your arteries. You've probably heard that kind of stuff your whole life, but here's the truth. Most of what we were told about eggs for the last 50 years is flat out wrong. The science has changed. The research has changed. And the truth is, eggs are actually one of the most underrated, misunderstood, and straight up valuable foods you can eat. But let's back up. Why did people start thinking eggs were dangerous in the first place? It all comes down to cholesterol. In the past, health experts believed that eating foods high in cholesterol, like eggs, would raise your blood cholesterol levels, and that would increase your risk of heart disease. So eggs got demonized. One day they were just breakfast food, and the next day they were public enemy number one. But here's what nobody explained clearly. The cholesterol in food doesn't automatically turn into cholesterol in your blood. Your body is smarter than that. When you eat more cholesterol, your liver makes less, and when you eat less, your liver makes more. Your body adjusts and keeps things in balance. So for most people, eating eggs, even every day, doesn't actually raise your blood cholesterol in a dangerous way. This isn't just some opinion floating around on health blogs. It's backed by real research. Large-scale studies and nutrition reviews have shown that in healthy people, eating eggs has very little effect on blood cholesterol levels, and it doesn't increase the risk of heart disease like we used to think. In fact, in some studies, eggs have been shown to increase HDL, the good kind of cholesterol, which actually helps protect your heart. Now, that doesn't mean eggs are magically perfect for every single person on the planet. If you have a rare genetic condition called familial hypercholesterolemia, your body doesn't handle cholesterol properly, and in that case, you really do have to be careful. But for the average person with no major medical issues, eggs are not only safe, they're extremely beneficial. Let's talk about why. First of all, eggs are loaded with high-quality protein. Every single large egg gives you about 6 to 7 grams of protein, but what's really important is the type of protein. Egg protein is what scientists call a complete protein. That means it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to function properly, and your body can actually absorb and use this protein really efficiently. That's why eggs are often used as the gold standard when comparing the quality of other protein sources. Whether you're trying to build muscle, recover from exercise, or just make sure you're getting enough protein to stay strong as you age, eggs are one of the best, most affordable ways to do it. But protein is just the beginning. One of the most important and most overlooked nutrients in eggs is something called choline. You don't hear much about choline, but it plays a huge role in your brain and your nervous system. It helps your brain cells communicate. It helps with memory. It helps your muscles function. It even plays a role in mood regulation. And here's the thing, most people aren't getting enough of it. In fact, around 90% of Americans don't hit the recommended amount of choline per day. That's where eggs come in. One large egg gives you about 147 milligrams of choline. For women, that's about 27% of your daily needs. For men, it's around 22%. And if you eat a couple of eggs in a day, you're covering a major chunk of your choline intake without needing supplements or weird superfoods. Now here's something else that matters. Vitamins and minerals. Eggs are loaded with them. Inside one little shell, you're getting a decent amount of vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, selenium, iodine, and riboflavin. These are all nutrients your body needs for things like energy production, immune function, red blood cell formation, and more. Vitamin D especially is worth pointing out because not a lot of foods naturally contain it, and many people are low in it, especially during the winter. One egg has around 10% of your daily vitamin D, which isn't a huge amount on its own, but when you eat eggs regularly, it definitely adds up. And let's not forget the eye health benefits. The yolks of eggs contain 2 antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. These are natural pigments that help protect your eyes from damage caused by blue light and UV rays. They've also been linked to a lower risk of cataracts and age-related macular degeneration, which are two of the most common causes of vision loss as you get older. It's one of those things that most people never think about until they start having vision problems. But by eating eggs regularly, you're helping protect your eyes long term, without needing to take a bunch of expensive supplements. Now, when people say eggs are healthy, it's easy to just assume they mean egg whites. A lot of people still think the yolk is the unhealthy part, and that the whites are where all the good stuff is. But actually, that's completely backwards. The yolk is where most of the nutrition is. That's where the choline is, that's where the vitamin D is, that's where the lutein and zeaxanthin are. The white is mostly just protein and water. It's good protein, yes, but if you throw out the yolk, you're throwing out the most nutrient-dense part of the egg. Of course, there's still the question of how many eggs you should eat, and the answer isn't one size fits all. For most healthy people, eating 1 to 3 eggs a day is completely fine and even beneficial. Some people can eat more and still have perfectly healthy blood work. Others might do better with fewer. It depends on your overall diet, your activity level, your genetics, and your health goals. But in general, the idea that you need to limit yourself to 1 egg per day just doesn't hold up anymore. If your diet is mostly whole, balanced foods, and you're not living off fried junk, eggs can absolutely be a regular part of your meals. Now, how you cook your eggs does matter. This is something a lot of people overlook. When you cook eggs at very high heat, like frying them in a lot of oil until they're crispy brown, you can lose some of the more delicate nutrients like certain antioxidants. And when you add a bunch of processed meat or butter on top of it, the meal can go from healthy to questionable pretty fast. That doesn't mean you have to eat plain boiled eggs every day, but gentler cooking methods like boiling, poaching, or soft scrambling with a little olive oil or grass-fed butter can help you get the most out of the nutrition in your eggs without destroying it or loading on extra junk. It's about balance. And while we're talking about cooking, let's quickly touch on food safety. Eggs are generally safe, but they can sometimes carry salmonella bacteria, especially if they're raw or undercooked. So if you're eating raw eggs in things like homemade mayonnaise, dressings, or cookie dough, make sure you're using pasteurized eggs. And always store your eggs in the fridge, wash your hands after handling them, and cook them thoroughly if you're at higher risk for illness, like if you're pregnant, older, or have a weakened immune system. It's also worth paying attention to the quality of the eggs you're buying. Not all eggs are created equal. Eggs from pasture-raised or free-range chickens tend to have better nutrient profiles than eggs from factory-farmed hens. Studies have shown that pasture-raised eggs can have more omega-3 fatty acids, more vitamin A, and more vitamin E. They also tend to have deeper yellow or even orange yolks, which is a sign of higher antioxidant content. Yes, they cost a little more, but if you're already investing in healthy food, this is one area where a small upgrade can make a noticeable difference. You don't have to buy the most expensive eggs at the store, but if you can find pasture-raised or organic eggs, they're usually worth it. So the next time someone tells you eggs are bad for you, just remember, the science has moved on. The experts have moved on. And maybe it's time we all moved on too. Because the truth is, eggs aren't the problem. They're part of the solution. Are eggs part of your diet already, or are you thinking of adding more of them? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there.